Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11, an Alpena resident has been arrested after an early morning stabbing. Plus, Besser Museum held an opening reception tonight for their holiday exhibit. And Girl Scouts across northern Michigan held an official dress drive today at local Goodwill stores. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. WBKB News at 11 starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. Your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
Police were called to a stabbing early this morning in Alpena Township. Good evening, I'm Ashley Reed. The incident happened around 2 o'clock this morning. The suspect, a 54-year-old Alpena resident, was arrested for aggravated assault less than murder. It has been stated that alcohol was a factor in this incident. The Alpena County Sheriff's Office was assisted by the Alpena City Police Department and Michigan State Police. The suspect is being held at the Alpena County Jail. This incident is an ongoing investigation and no further details have been released at this time. 100 years ago tomorrow was the worst storm in Great Lakes recorded history, and today each lost vessel and crew member was remembered. The Great Lakes Lore Maritime Museum in Rogers City holds 4 bell-ringing ceremonies each year, one for each of the last 4 big shipwrecks on the Great Lakes. Members of the museum as well as other community members gathered today to ring the bell for the crew of the Edmund Fitzgerald that sank November 10th of 1975. They also rang the bell for the 12 ships and more than 230 souls that were lost in the Great Storm of 1913.
Doing these bell ring ceremonies for the November ships that sank, I know what them guys went through because the water that I was in '65 was 36 degrees.
Erickson is a survivor of the Cedarville that sunk on May 7th of 1965. The ship was rammed by a Norwegian trader in heavy fog by the Mackinac Bridge. 10 crew members lost their lives. Erickson is one of 6 surviving crew members that are alive today. The Cedarville bell ringing ceremony takes place in May. Erickson says these ceremonies are important to maintain history as long as possible. Besser Museum hosted an opening reception for its holiday exhibit tonight in hopes to get everyone in the holiday spirit. The exhibit is called The Season of Life, The Gift of Giving. For $10, people could check out the different displays while enjoying snacks and punch. The exhibit centerpiece is a storefront window display.
Besser Museum opens early really to help kick off the season and to get you into the spirit. It's a great way to share something with friends from out of town, family from out of town, great way to build memories with your grandchildren.
The Community Trees Room has a variety of trees on display. Local nonprofit agencies each decorated their own tree to reflect what they do to serve the community. The Wilson Gallery displays on-sale items made by local artists. The Trees of Nations room consists of trees decorated to highlight the traditions of different countries. And Diane Sharp has set up one of the largest Christmas Village displays. The exhibit will be open until December 31st. Creating new and special memories was the goal behind the Girl Scouts and Goodwill's first annual dress drive. 7 Girl Scouts from Troops 992 and 1033 in Alpena collected used dresses today at Goodwill. This was part of a larger effort that has been going on since October 28th. Girl Scouts of Michigan Shore to Shore partnered with Goodwill Industries for the Every Dress Has a Story initiative.
Well, it promotes awareness for the community and what Goodwill does, and also a lot of the community service work that the Girl Scouts do.
Community members were asked to donate formal and informal dresses from their closets so they would be worn by someone else to create a new special memory. Individuals who donated were asked to share the story of their dresses through social media and on a piece of paper provided at Goodwill stores. 2 Girl Scouts shared their stories with me today.
This dress is special because it is my 5th Christmas with Grandma, and you'll get a special memory to it.
This dress is special because it was my first Christmas program dress. My wish for the girl is that gets the dress is that you have a Merry Christmas.
Dresses were collected at all Goodwill locations in northern Michigan. Today, Girl Scouts in Alpena collected 26 dresses. Dan McCarty has been crafting wood for about the same number of years that the Wishing for Christmas craft show has gone on in Alpena, 25 years. McCarty got back into his hobby of wood crafting after finding a wooden toy his dad made for him years ago. He traveled from Belleville to sell his work at the Wishing for Christmas craft show today. He doesn't make a profit between time driving to different shows and the amount of time he puts into it, and it's tedious work, but something he really enjoys doing.
When you first start out, you go, wow, this is going to take me forever, but once you get done with it, you see what you made, and it's great.
The Wishing for Christmas craft show started at the Alpena Civic Theater but is now at the Aplex. There were about 30 vendors from all over Michigan today. The number of vendors varies each year, but the craft show has had up to 120 vendors in previous years.
I think anytime that you can have an event that draws the community together and brings people out of the house, and gets them out on a rainy, cold Saturday afternoon, it gives people some place to go and something to do.
The craft show falls on the same weekend every year. After competing last year in the Showdown Grand Nationals, the Alpena Spirit Explosion want to go back. The competitive cheerleading team is raising money to compete again in Chicago early February. There are 15 girls on the team who will compete against teams from every state at this national competition. Today, the team held a bake sale to raise money.
This competition is probably the highlight of their whole season. I feel confident saying that because we went last year for the very first time, and to compete at that level was an amazing experience, and they got to see teams that are just incredible teams, and it was inspirational to them to work harder.
Today, the girls raised about $300. Overall, they have raised nearly half of their $6,000 goal. They will be holding an all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast this Wednesday at McDonald's. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, a mid-Michigan doctor is out on bail after being arrested earlier this week. Plus, all fans attending this year's Super Bowl are going to score some free goodies. Those stories after the break. Welcome back. In state news, a mid-Michigan doctor who practices in Jackson and Albion is out on bail after being charged with 2 counts of criminal sexual conduct. Wednesday, patients were asked to leave, and Dr. Horace Davis was seen leaving Albion Center for Family Medicine in handcuffs. Detectives and DEA agents were seen searching the facility. The mother of the alleged victim says her daughter was a patient of Dr. Davis and that he inappropriately touched her during a physical that they did not ask for. Dr. Davis was charged with criminal sexual conduct in the 1st and 2nd degree. Now out on bail, he says the accusation was a lie and it will be proven at the appropriate time. In financial news, Twitter is singing a happy tune after its highly anticipated debut on the New York Stock Exchange. The stock only retreated slightly. Shares closed at $41. Volatile trading is common for new stocks as investors weigh the long-term value of the company's shares. Amazon is taking on Apple's new lighter iPad, releasing its own lighter version of the Kindle Fire. The full-size tablet actually weighs less than the iPad and reportedly has a sharper display. It also costs about $20 less. And if you're lucky enough to score tickets to the Super Bowl, expect some free stuff to help keep you warm. Fans attending football's biggest game outside in February at MetLife Stadium in northern New Jersey will be getting gift bags that include a seat cushion, lip balm, a pack of tissues, and hand warmers. GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan put together state and local gas prices. The highest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $3.31 at Seymour's. The lowest is at $3.25 at Murphy USA. Across Michigan, the highest gas price is $3.79 in Grosse Isle. And I bet those in Lambertville are happy. That's where the lowest price for gas is coming in at $2.90. There's still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Jeff Kolb will be in with a look at sports, and temperatures are dropping. Find out just how cold it's going to get with your weather forecast. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's time now for a look at the weather. Today, the high was 47 degrees. The normal high for this time of year is about 46 degrees. The low today dropped down to 31 degrees. Normal low 30 degrees, so our normal temperatures, we were pretty much right on with those today. Record high was 75 degrees. That was back in 1999. And our low reached all the way down to 13 degrees on this day back in 2003. Losing more daylight hours by the day. Sunrise this morning was at 7:24. Sunset tonight as early as 5:11. Currently in Alpena, it's 40 degrees. West-southwest winds around 8 miles per hour, making it really feel like 34 degrees. Taking a look at our satellite and radar, we can see most of this cloud coverage all over the northern part of the map. Some snow showers to our west, but it looks like mostly just precipitation over us for the most part. I don't think temperatures are going to reach low enough to see those snow showers, so mostly rain throughout the night. Going into tonight, chance of showers 50%, 37 degrees for our low. West winds 15 to 25 miles per hour. However, we may see a gust as high as 30 miles per hour. And going into tomorrow, once again, chance of showers around 50%, high of 43 degrees. Northwest winds 15 to 25 miles per hour, pretty breezy, and wind gusts could get as high as 35 degrees. And then rain and snow possible tomorrow night, low of 35 degrees. West winds not quite as breezy as today and tomorrow, but those winds around 10 miles per hour. And taking a look at our week ahead in our extended weather forecast, Monday for Veterans Day, snow showers are likely mainly before noon. And then 40% chance of snow showers on Tuesday will reach a high of 31 degrees. Wednesday and Thursday both looking to be mostly sunny. We're going to get up to a high of 43 degrees on Thursday. And then Friday mostly cloudy, high of 44 degrees. And low is going to get down to 31 degrees. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Alicia Bouchard. She sends us this photo of the sunrise over the break wall in Alpena. Those sunshine rays in the cloud formations make this such a cool photo, and it's beautiful. Thank you, Alicia, for sharing this photo with us. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email a photo along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com. In your Health Watch, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration wants to take trans fats out of our food supply. Government officials say the heart-clogging fats are not safe. Trans fats are in many fried and processed foods, but in the last few years, companies, restaurants, and cities across the country have been phasing out trans fats. The FDA believes eliminating trans fats will prevent about 20,000 heart attacks and save about 7,000 lives every year. A new government report shows more than 20 million Americans ages 50 to 75 have not had any screening for colorectal cancer. The numbers from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention also show 1 in 3 adults are not up to date with their screenings. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in both men and women in the U.S. Guidelines recommend adults 50 and older get a colonoscopy every 10 years or a specialized fecal test every year. And a new study links 2 pesticides to an increased risk of endometriosis. Researchers say the chemicals showed up in blood samples from patients even though the pesticides have been banned for decades. Women with higher exposure had a 30 to 70% increased risk of endometriosis. That's when the tissue that lines the uterus grows outside the womb. In national news, officials in the Philippines fear the death toll there could reach 10,000. A powerful typhoon ripped through the area and authorities are still trying to figure out the scope of the damage. CBS's Wendy Gillette has the latest from New York.
Typhoon Haiyan reduced entire neighborhoods in the Philippines to rubble.
The devastation is, I don't have the words for it. It's really horrific. It's a great human tragedy.
150-mile-per-hour winds ripped through homes and snapped this tree like a twig. The storm surge, reportedly up to 40 feet high in places, sent floodwaters into the streets. This woman says she's searching for her mother, father, and her child who was ripped from her hand. Cleanup and rescue efforts are difficult because there's no power or phones in most places. People are sorting through what's left of their homes during the day, then huddling together at night in the structures that are still standing. This image from space shows just how massive the typhoon is, one of the most powerful storms ever recorded. It's hitting Vietnam, then is forecast to head to China. On Saturday, 500,000 Vietnamese people in high-risk areas were moved to higher ground. They're hoping to avoid the direct hit that was seen in the Philippines. Wendy Gillette for CBS News.
Typhoons are the same thing as a hurricane. In our part of the world, we call it a hurricane. In Asia, the storm is known as a typhoon. In the Middle East, it's called a cyclone. Sports is coming up next, but first, Jeff Kolb is here with a preview of what's ahead. Jeff?
Alpena High School's green and white hockey game hitting the ice at Northern Lights Arena today. We'll have those highlights. Plus, could the Alcona football team advance to the regionals for the very first time ever? We'll reveal that and more. Don't go anywhere. The Alcona football team hasn't lost a game all year, but with 9-1 Lake City coming to town, the Tigers knew they'd need to be what they've been all season, perfect. The Tigers and Trojans meeting for the first time in 40 years, Alcona winning last time 8-6. Late first quarter, Tigers driving down 6-zip, Josh Mead bursting around the corner for the nice gain. Later, it's Cody Franklin faking out the D, following his blockers, and going in for the score. 2-point conversion would put the Tigers up 8-6, but that wouldn't be the final this time. That thanks in a big way to Trojan QB Drew Marion. After a Tiger fumble, Marion running the read option and optioning for himself. He goes in for the score. And then minutes before the break, the senior signal caller going for the jugular, his 4th rushing TD in the half. Lake City ending Alcona's perfect season 56-14 to earn a spot against Ishpeming in the regional final. Michigan hosting Nebraska. In 3 seasons, Brady Hoke hasn't done anything better than coach at home, 19-0 entering the day. Second half, Michigan down 7. Devin Gardner hitting Fitzgerald Toussaint. He does the dirty work, weaving ahead 25 yards. And later in the drive, Wolverines getting their first TD in 7 quarters. Gardner finding Devin Funches in the back of the end zone. Game tied at 10, but in the 4th, Tommy Armstrong Jr. connecting with Amir Abdullah. Nebraska wins it 17-13, handing Michigan its 2nd loss in the last 2 weeks. The Wolverines are now 6-3, but 2-3 in the Big Ten. And tomorrow, the Lions traveling to Soldier Field, looking to do something they haven't since 2007, sweep their season series with the Bears. Detroit beat Chicago in Week 4, 40-32, and is coming off its bye week. Meanwhile, the Bears played Monday night, beating Green Bay to tie for first place in the NFC North at 5-3. Jay Cutler will be back, and he'll be hoping to fare better against the Lions after throwing 3 picks and having a fumble return for a TD last time. One Lion very excited earlier this week to hear that Jay will play.
He's a tough guy. No discredit to McCown, but I want the best shot. Whichever quarterback's healthier, I like going against Cutler, and I wish him the best speedy recoveries so I can come back and go against them and take them down.
The Alpena hockey team has been rounding into form all week. The preseason reaching its climax today, however, as the players faced off, some wearing green, others white, all hoping to don both colors this season for the varsity. The Wildcats putting the puck in the net for the first time during in-game intensity. Players getting off plenty of shots, hoping to impress Coach Pete Dubeck, who took this one in from up top. The Alpena goalies being peppered with shots as well and fending several of them off. Of course, this was an exhibition. The score was reset during periods, as you can see there. And the other thing you won't see come regular season, Alpena fans would hope at least, being the Wildcats beating each other up like today. The Street Cats back in action tonight against the Hounds. 2nd place, Alpena now 6 points behind Traverse City for the top spot. Last night, a very chippy affair. Tonight, a similar scene. The Hounds making a Sergei Diev sandwich here. Cats can't score on the power play, though. Back the other way, Vladislav Grovsky standing on his head against Traverse City, holding the league's top scoring offense to 1 goal through 4 periods to start the weekend. But the Hounds catching fire in the 2nd period. Cam Fisher hitting the puck this time and putting it in the back of the net. Hounds topping the Street Cats 4-1. The league's top 2 teams splitting a pair this weekend. Alpena next at home Sunday against the Fighting Irish. And the Tampa Bay Lightning visiting the Red Wings. 3rd period, Jimmy Howard with the huge stop against Tyler Johnson. So Detroit down only 2-1, and Henrik Zetterberg changes that. His 2nd goal of the game. We go to OT, but in the extra time, Teddy Purcell sending home the entire city of Detroit, sick to its stomach, rather. Tampa Bay beating Detroit 3-2. The Wings now losers of 5 straight games in their own building. So a couple tough losses around the area today.
Lots of losses in Michigan.
Yeah, tough to see that Alcona football team go down, but they just had an unbelievable season, the best one in school history. So again, congrats to the Tigers on 10 straight wins to start the season, and I'm sure they'll have a good squad coming back next year. So.
Looks like it from this year. Well, coming up next on WBKB News at 11, most children his age are still in elementary school, but this smart child is in college. Find out more after the break. Thanks for staying tuned. Tanishq Abraham is 10 years old and in school, but he's not in elementary school, he's in college. Tanishq says his classmates are usually surprised at first, but then occasionally ask him for help. At American River College, both he and his sister Tiara take a Spanish class. Tanishq says he doesn't think about being smarter than other kids, he just does his work. Tanishq says in kindergarten he realized just how smart he is. He wanted to learn things that were more advanced. Tanishq likes astronomy, and even NASA's noticed, publishing some of his articles on its website. His mom said she asked him to point out a square at 3 months old, and he did. With his intelligence, his mom says she sometimes forgets he's only 10 years old, but he's a typical kid who fights with his sister. Tanishq wants to either be a scientist or president when he grows up. He really wants to help out this world, and he already has a celebrity endorsement, Queen Latifah.
Wow.
10 years old. Don't you wish you were that smart?
Yes, I think he would be a great candidate for that Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader show.
Oh,
I think he could
definitely
embarrass
would.
a lot of people. I would take him on my spelling bee
And if you
team
didn't
also.
notice, his sister looked about his age too. I don't know if they're both 10 years old, but they're in that Spanish class together, so they're obviously bred
That is one
from a
smart
family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on more news items online.
If you haven't already, visit WBKB11.com for your sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
That's all we have for you tonight, but don't forget to tune in tomorrow night at 11. I'll be back with your news. Jeff will have all updates from the world of sports. Enjoy the rest of your night.